It's the first time I've seen you in person in a while, which is great. A lot has changed since we last talked. The social media landscape has changed dramatically. Obviously, Elon and Twitter. Meta is struggling. We just heard from Twitch, they're making changes. TikTok is eating everyone's lunch, whether the US government likes it or not. Where do you see Discord's place in the social media landscape?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Emily. It's great to be here. Nice to see people in person. It's kind of a fun change of things. So as you know, Discord is a super-powered chat app where people can hang out and talk with their friends, all the way to having communities that come together and do things. And so Discord is really about this feeling of being together with people that you want to spend time with. And we started it originally as a place to talk and hang out with our friends as we played games together. And over time, what we came to notice was the way that the tool worked was just great for groups of 5 friends or 500,000 fans that want to come together. And it can feel like your own sort of living room or private coffee shop or an event hall like this. And today, over 150 million people are using Discord every month to talk and hang out with each other. Fun fact, over 80% of the actual conversations that happen on Discord are in smaller spaces with friends, less like this. 75% of our users are outside of North America. So we're really excited that we get to spend some time every day helping people spend quality time with the people they want to.
So we did do a Twitter poll about messaging, and I believe Discord is on it. And to be fair, it's a poll on Twitter, so
okay.
What's your preferred message? Okay, so Discord is lower on the list, but I know you're not just a messaging platform. There is a question, though. I think a lot of people still think of Discord as this narrow voice chat gaming app, and it is so much more than that. How do you get it from where the world sees it to where you want it to be, or even where you see it?
Yeah, I mean, we're very focused on making an amazing product and service that is easier to use, that helps people spend quality time together with their friends. One of the interesting differences when we talk to people about what makes Discord special and feel magical for them is that it's very much focused on being a place for a group of friends to come together. So unlike perhaps other messengers where you're more sort of chatting with folks, Discord has this sort of sense of people being around. You can kind of run into your friends by accident. It really feels like having your own sort of cozy space that's just for you, whether you want to play games, work on a project, have a weekly sort of movie night or wine get together, but when you can't be in the same place. So we're just focused on telling our story and making a great product. And
it's huge with kids. Maybe parents are still trying to figure it out. Are kids still the biggest demographic on there?
No, most of our users are over 18.
Okay. Yeah. And when we last talked, you talked about this phenomenon of not just second screening, but third screening, where sometimes kids will be on TikTok or watching Netflix, but also on Discord. Can you describe that for us? And what's the upper limit of screening, like 5 screens?
The way the world is going, you can have infinite screens, right? I mean, what people really do with Discord is it's a place for them to get together and do things together. And so typically you'll be on Discord, either voice chat or video chat, and you may have one person who's text chatting depending on if they feel if they want to engage and lean in that way, and then you're usually doing something else, maybe working on a project, listening to music, watching a movie, playing a game, browsing social media. So it is this sort of very rich experience of sort of the virtual version of sitting on a couch with someone and hanging out and doing something. So that's where these different kind of screens come in.
Now, like most social media companies, social companies, you are struggling with a lot of the same things that everyone else is. And one very unique situation in particular, earlier this year, the largest batch of classified documents, I believe, since Edward Snowden, were dropped on Discord. It sounds like they landed there in January and no one really even noticed until they were shared with a larger group. But what happened there, and how are you managing that?
Yeah, that was a very unusual situation. So let me be clear, sharing illegal information on Discord is against our terms of service. But the challenge with a situation like that is that it's very hard to identify, in fact, maybe impossible, what is actually classified information. The government doesn't even tell people. So this is a challenging situation that I think every platform has to sort of think about how to navigate when you're dealing with classified information, which obviously no one wants that shared, but we also don't know what is classified or what isn't. So as soon as we As soon as it was identified and brought to our attention, we removed it from the platform, and we've been cooperating with the government.
So did you bring it to the government's attention?
No.
Are you working with any other players on this, and how? Whether it's government agencies, other companies?
We are cooperating with the government, as we need to be in situations like this. But we're taking it very seriously.
Yep.
And it's a very challenging and, I'll say it again, unusual circumstance.
So look, the person in question has been indicted. This allegedly came from a gun enthusiast who was with the US Air National Guard, but it has opened this conversation more broadly that Discord has become a haven for extremists. What's your response to that?
We have a zero tolerance policy for extremism and hate on our platform, and we take it very seriously. We have built in from the beginning, from day zero, privacy controls and tools that people can use to enforce, sort of norms and keep their space safe. So if you run your own community, you can sort of decide what's okay there and what is not okay there. However, we also have community guidelines that we expect people to enforce in their spaces. And we employ about 15% of our workforce is focused on trust and safety, many engineers and many support people, where if the moderators, let's say, need help, they can come to us, or if they're not doing their job, we'll go to them. And it's a very serious situation that we spend a lot of energy on, but it's challenging. And every day, we try to do a better job than we did yesterday.
So I think one of the things about Discord, and for those who haven't necessarily used it, is it's a lot of this activity is happening in these private servers, and it's not searchable. And I think some people think that makes it even harder to find people doing bad things. Does the architecture itself make it harder to police? And how are you thinking about that?
Well, so Discord it is more like a group chat app than a social media product. I know this is sort of the social media section, but we actually don't even really think of ourselves as social media. Our business model is different, and we're more of a communications product. So we give people tools to moderate their own spaces, and that goes a very long way. But one important thing with Discord is that we do not use end-to-end encryption. And while we do not proactively read people's messages, that does give us the ability to comply with law enforcement requests as appropriate. If people report messages to us, we can go look, and we do proactive investigations based on external signals to try to identify where bad actors may be spending time on our platform, and we do proactively go and find them. We do ban users, we do shut down servers, and we do report things to governments.
There's also a concern about, and look, I know this is a tough line of questioning, but child predators. This is an article that just came out yesterday from NBC. Child predators are using Discord, a popular app among teens, for sextortion and abductions. That's your company.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, this person is just the person from the Canadian Center of Child Protection saying it's just the tip of the iceberg. How do you respond to that?
I mean, as a parent, it's mortifying, and we take this stuff very seriously. And we have a team that is working every day tirelessly to try and keep these people off of our platform and find these things when they're happening in a way that respects the privacy of all the people who are not doing these things. One of the things we do, for example, is every image that gets uploaded to Discord is scanned for CSAM, and if we detect it, we report it. So we do try to be proactive about these things in ways that technology allows. But when you have a system with so many people, it's a daily thing, and like I said, we try to get better every day.
Will AI help with that, or make it harder?
AI will help with it. One of the challenges I think that all of the folks in our industry have is that when you have so many things happening at scale on a platform, it's so hard to sort of identify things. I mean, Dan just spoke about this a little bit, but we also have our own sort of AutoMod project where we're testing out using large language models and how they can help us identify content that breaks our community guidelines, or things that we are not permissible due to laws in local countries. And so we're still sort of experimenting with this. It's such a new area, as we've all been hearing today, but it's very promising.
So let's talk about AI, because you've been working with OpenAI, and I'm so curious for your view on AI chatbots, the search wars, and Discord's role in this whole ecosystem.
Yeah, so the way we think about it is on Discord, people really are coming to us because they want to spend quality time with other folks, or explore their passions and talk to people. And so I think about, how does AI help us help people spend time together? And that's how we kind of think about it. And so for the products that we're building, the things that we think about are either ways to help people interact and have more fun together. So we're working on integrating a chatbot where you can kind of ask it questions and do things with your friends. So like, I was working on a programming project, and you can ask the bot to write some code for you, and because I'm doing it in the context of a chat with my friends, they can see the output and then go, oh, that's cool, and then they can prompt the bot to sort of iterate on it, and you can work on it together. So that's kind of a really interesting thing that I think is novel.
And Midjourney is the largest community on Discord, right? Like 13 million members? Like, can you talk about that and how that could be maybe a model for future communities?
Yeah, so Midjourney is an amazing generative AI app where you can express your creativity by typing in words, and it generates images for you. And Midjourney is a really cool example of how our platform and developers that build on top of Discord are bringing AI into interesting sort of social experiences. Because many of these AI services, these generative things, they're kind of single-player tools. You're using them by yourself. What makes Midjourney magical is you go into this space with over 16 million people, and you can see other folks expressing their creativity and creating images and be inspired, and then people can give you feedback and you can iterate on it. And then if you love that capability, you can take the Midjourney app into your own group chat with your friends and then work on creating things with each other. And it's a really fun, collaborative way to explore AI. And so I love that people are building lots of these kind of multiplayer AI experiences on Discord because of the nature of our product.
Now, I believe the first time we talked was around when Bloomberg reported that Microsoft tried to buy Discord for $10 billion, which didn't happen then. But let's talk about the business. Like, how is the business going? How are you making money?
Yes, wonderfully. So I mentioned that we don't really think of ourselves as social media, and a big part of that is our business model. We sell a subscription service that our end users can choose to purchase if they love our product. So it's called Discord Nitro. We have a $10 a month plan, which is for our power users. It gives you HD streaming, so when you're playing games, you can see them in 4K, or you can send animated emojis, so you can make inside jokes with your friends that are really fun. And then we have kind of a $3 plan called Nitro Basic that gives you sort of a trimmed down access to some of those capabilities. And we're exploring other sort of price points and packaging that we can continue to deliver value to different portions of our user base.
Can you give us an idea how fast it's growing?
No, but what I can tell you is that we're very, very, very happy with it. And I really love, and I want to reiterate this, I think it's something very special about how we run Discord, is that because we make money by selling something to our users, the whole company wakes up every day thinking, how do we delight our customers and make better products for them? We don't sell ads, and so I love that we're just totally focused on making an amazing experience for people.
So would you be open to a sale, or do you want to go public? What is the plan?
We're having a lot of fun right now, getting to create these amazing products for people, and so that's really what we're focused on.
Talk a little bit about creators, because I know you've been adding tools for creators, and there's a lot of competition in the creator community for their attention, right? And for their time and effort. And what is the value proposition on Discord versus elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, Discord is the place where you can bring your superfans together and create a community around whatever your passion or hobby is. And this is another one of those things that happened kind of by accident as we built the product. But what we find is that creators, and even businesses to some extent, love to create these spaces where they can bring their most loyal, engaged folks together. And we're exploring how we can help them make money on our platform in addition to whatever they might be doing anywhere else.
So I believe there's maybe more than a few people who left Twitter and are now working at Discord. Is that true?
We see a lot of people joining Discord from Twitter, but also from other services. We're quite different from Twitter.
I know you're very different from Twitter, but I guess back to my the question that I opened with is, I feel like what's happening with Twitter is sort of a broader, tells a broader story of, dislocation in the, I know you're not social media, in the landscape of apps that are, taking up our time. Do you see an opportunity there for Discord?
I mean, the opportunity that I see is that, people at the end of the day, I think everyone would resonate that, like, a big part of what makes being alive fun is having relationships with other people and spending time with them and talking with people you care about and hanging out. And so much of what the internet has brought us is it's allowed us to close these gaps and do that in amazing ways, but it's also created a lot of other distractions for our time and attention that maybe aren't as fulfilling at the end of the day. And so the opportunity that I really see is harnessing the internet, this amazing, generational technology that we have, and using it to help people find a deeper sense of belonging and connection with the people they care about.
Most importantly, are you interested in a cage match with Elon Musk?
Maybe Fortnite, see him on the island, but not.
All right, it's a date. Jason Citron, everyone, thank you.